The story of Trump's Epstein reversal begins at a moment when American politics was already saturated with controversy, speculation, and unresolved scandals. Yet nothing seemed to capture the public imagination quite like the ongoing debates around Jeffrey Epstein's network, his influence, and the people whose names surfaced in connection with him. For years, the Epstein case has hovered like a dark cloud over political discussions, media narratives, and public trust in powerful institutions. And every new comment by a major figure, especially a former president, adds another layer to a story that never truly closed. Donald Trump's latest shift in tone, what analysts are calling the Epstein Reversal, has once again ignited national attention, pulling the past into the present with a force that reveals how deeply this case still resonates. To understand why this reversal matters, one must first trace the long and complex history of the Epstein scandal itself, a tale of wealth, secrecy, power, and abuses that shocked the world when the full extent of Epstein's crimes came to light. Epstein had cultivated relationships with influential people for years, weaving himself into high circles, building connections that would later become the subject of global scrutiny. The allegations against him, centered around the trafficking and exploitation of underage girls, were so disturbing that even long after his death, millions continued to demand answers, transparency, and accountability from those who were in his orbit in any capacity. In this context, Donald Trump's past remarks about Epstein had always been a point of curiosity. Trump had generally distanced himself, claiming that he had cut ties with Epstein long before the most troubling allegations emerged. For years, that remained his stance, simple, clear, and consistent. So when subtle changes in Trump's language appeared in a recent interview, political commentators immediately took notice. This shift did not come as a dramatic confession or a sudden revelation. Rather, it was a nuanced change in tone, a rephrasing of old comments, a questioning of motives from critics, and a new narrative framing that analysts quickly interpreted as a deliberate rhetorical pivot. Although Trump did not provide new factual details, the mere act of altering his position, even slightly, sent shockwaves through media outlets that have long tracked every development in the Epstein saga. The reversal is seen as significant for several reasons. First, anything related to Epstein draws immediate attention because it represents one of the most infamous criminal cases involving elite social networks. Second, the shift comes from a figure who continues to influence American political discourse at a high level, meaning every statement has the potential to shape election narratives, public trust, and partisan debates. Third, the timing of the reversal aligns with heightened political tensions, making even subtle changes seem more strategic, calculated, or consequential. Critics argue that the reversal raises questions. Why change now? What prompted the shift? Does it hint at broader political pressures, new behind-the-scenes information, or an attempt to reframe public memory? Supporters countered that the Trump shift is merely an attempt to push back against what they see as politically motivated attacks, resurfacing for election season advantage. Social media platforms have reacted predictably. An explosion of posts, comments, breakdown videos, and conspiracy theories attempting to decode Trump's intentions. Some insist the reversal reveals hidden truths. Others believe it is simply a distraction tactic. Still others view it as an intentional shift to reassert control over a narrative that has followed Trump for years. Yet beyond all the noise, the reversal has revived broader conversations about the Epstein case itself. Why do so many documents remain sealed? Why have certain individuals not been publicly scrutinized to the same degree as others? Why does this case continue to expose fractures in public trust toward law enforcement, the justice system, and governments around the world? Each time a prominent figure speaks on the matter, even indirectly, these questions resurface stronger than before. Analysts suggest that Trump's reversal could influence more than public opinion, potentially affecting ongoing investigations, media priorities, political strategy, and even legal discussions about what information should be unsealed. Behind closed doors, journalists, researchers, and political strategists are reevaluating what this shift indicates for the coming political season. Historically, powerful political figures often revisit controversial topics strategically, whether to address them directly, to neutralize criticism, or to redirect public attention. Trump's reversal may fit into one of these patterns, though interpretations vary widely. Some argue that the shift was unintentional, a natural result of conversational pressure in an interview. Others believe it was deliberate, perhaps signaling concerns about future document releases or attempts by opponents to weaponize the Epstein narrative. The truth is likely more complex, rooted in the dynamic interplay between media, politics, and public perception. Meanwhile, the Epstein story remains one of the most persistent, unresolved scandals of the 21st century. Despite his death, despite multiple investigations, despite global media coverage, the case continues to feel unfinished. Victims have called for greater transparency. Advocates have pushed for the release of sealed documents. Reporters have uncovered inconsistencies in investigations. Each unanswered question fuels speculation and ensures the story's longevity. Trump's reversal enters this landscape as another ripple in a sea of uncertainty. Whether or not it reveals anything new factually, it undeniably shapes how people remember both Trump's past statements and the Epstein case as a whole. Public memory is fluid, influenced not only by evidence, but by narratives, commentary, and timing. For Trump's critics, the reversal serves as evidence of deeper inconsistencies. For his supporters, it represents a defense against what they view as politically motivated narratives. For neutral analysts, it is a strategic maneuver with potentially significant implications. But beyond political interpretations, the deeper story is about public hunger for truth that many feel they still have not received. As long as documents remain sealed and questions remain unanswered, any shift in tone from a major figure will be magnified dramatically. The Epstein case is not merely a criminal scandal. It is a symbol of how power can blur boundaries between legality and influence, between public accountability and private protection. Trump's reversal brings all of these themes back into the spotlight. It raises questions about how political figures shape narratives around controversial connections. It highlights the role of media in amplifying every nuance, and it reminds us that even years after Epstein's death, his story continues to expose systemic issues in the justice system and political culture. Moving forward, analysts predict more developments. They expect further commentary from other political figures, additional speculation online, renewed calls for unsealing documents, and possibly even new legal motions. The reversal may also affect debates on transparency, elite networks, and the need for reforms to prevent future abuses. In the world of politics, narrative control is power. By altering his tone, Trump may be attempting to regain control over how the public interprets his connection to Epstein, however distant or insignificant he claims it to be. Whether this strategy succeeds remains to be seen. What is certain is that the conversation is far from over. The Epstein case continues to haunt modern political culture, and Trump's reversal has ensured that the debate will persist even longer, pushing the public to question, analyze, and demand truth in a story filled with shadows, mysteries, and the unsettling realization that some of the world's most influential people were connected, directly or indirectly, to one of the darkest criminal operations in recent history. As reactions pour in from commentators, strategists, and everyday citizens, one thing becomes clear. Trump's Epstein reversal is not just a political moment. It is a reminder of unresolved truths, a spark reigniting old debates, and a powerful indicator of how deeply the Epstein case continues to shape public consciousness. Whether or not it leads to more transparency or more controversy will depend on the actions of political leaders, investigators, journalists, and the public itself. But the impact of this shift, subtle though it may seem, will echo across media cycles, political narratives, and historical interpretations for years to come, ensuring that the Epstein story and the questions surrounding Trump's stance will remain part of America's broader conversation about power, truth, and accountability in an age when nothing stays hidden forever, and every word, especially from a former president, carries consequences far beyond the moment in which it is spoken.